Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Bran and today I am going to be talking about some of the recent thriller books I have read from like April to like August. So April to August thriller books. Thrillers are one of my all-time favorite genres of all time. So before we get started, I also want to mention that this video is also being sponsored by Scribd. Scribd is basically a subscription service where basically you get an unlimited amount of ebooks and audiobooks for $9 a month, which is a really, really good deal because I heard that a lot of people who use Audible have to pay $15 per month, so it's pretty straightforward from there. So for my first book on Scribd, I chose to read The Outsider by Stephen King. Yes, I have the physical book, but I also plan on listening to the audiobook just because I do commute to and from school and it's literally the whole day and walking like all across campus. I'm really, really excited to start this book and to listen to an audio for three things. One, it's a thriller, if you can't tell from the cover. Two, Stephen freaking King. And three, the audiobook is narrated by Will Patton, who is also the narrator of one of my all-time favorite series of all time, the Raven Cycle series by Maggie Stiefvater. I've heard so many great things about this narrator for this particular series, and I don't know why I haven't started listening to the audiobooks yet, like to reread the whole series, but I heard he does a fantastic job and he narrates the whole entire book of The Outsiders. So yeah, if you guys are interested, you guys can actually go ahead and start listening to this book right now. If you guys click on the link down in the description box below, it is free for 30 days. And after that, it'll be $9 a month with unlimited selections for ebooks and audiobooks. I can't wait to get into this. And of course, I will be going back and forth along with reading as well as listening to the audiobook. With that being said, let us get straight into my recent thriller reads. The first book I'm going to talk about, Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessl. Neverworld Wake is actually a YA thriller mystery. I honestly wouldn't even call it thriller. It's probably more of like a suspense, dramatic mystery type of book. To be honest, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, I think, on Goodreads. I know a lot of people have either really, really liked it or didn't like it at all. And I honestly think if you really like her other book, Night Film, which comes across really strongly for people who really, really liked that book, who are going into this one because that one was adults. Pure psychological thriller, and this one is more like a tame version. I mean, I wouldn't even compare the two, but if you're looking for two different, like, audiences, like YA, and then the other one is, like, adults. It's really interesting. It's basically about a girl who meets up with her estranged friends at one of her friends' like estate mansions. Soon, a stranger comes knocking on their door and saying that the Neverworld Wake has begun. Won't go into too much detail because I think it's really key that you don't know too much about this book going in. One of the main things I really, really liked about this book is how most of the kids, actually all the kids, are like college age level and they're all in college and stuff. Really, really liked some of the aspects of Marisha's writing in this book. There were some places and a lot of parts in the book where I kind of felt it wasn't balanced, like equally balanced. Honestly, the whole mystery aspect of it was the only thing that kept me going. The whole other aspect, which is spoilery, I can't go into it, but the whole Neverworld Wake was really interesting as well, but I really wish he like utilized it in a like much different way. I felt like it didn't really reach its full potential. But I do know people who have read Night Film and who really liked it, really like this book. So if you're one of those people who really enjoyed Night Film, I say I would recommend this. I mean, this book is already out. Honestly, would think it would be a better adaptation as a movie or like a TV show perhaps than the book, because I really liked Girl on the Train, the film adaptation, much better than the actual book. So there's that. Alright, the next book that I'm going to talk about, the next book I read, is Mr. Tender's Girl by Carter Wilson. This one was really interesting. This one had a really, really great potential, but ultimately I was let down in the end. This one follows a girl who had a really, really tragic event back in the day when she was like a kid. She was like brutally stabbed when she was younger by 2 other girls, 2 sisters, who said they had to do it for this certain character that they believed was to be real. And this certain character was a character that her father like made up in like his graphic and comic books. Ultimately, I really think this book had really high potential. It just really lacked in its deliverance, especially at the end. I really think though it's really, really creepy, and the writing actually was really good. But I personally felt that it fell flat at the 3rd act, and I was really, really disappointed because it had so much potential. If you're someone who actually wants to read something like fast-paced and something very creepy, I actually would recommend this because I think it's worth, you know, probably a one-time read. But I think I have an acquired taste now when it comes to like certain thrillers. and I have like an expectancy for them to go in like a certain direction, and this one didn't really, follow through that. So I don't know. That's just me, but yeah, if you guys are interested, you guys can pick this up. Okay, so the next book I picked up is The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware. This one is really interesting just because this is my second book from Ruth Ware, and I think this is like her 4th or 5th book overall that she's written, and I read her first book, In a Dark, Dark Wood, which was her debut novel, and I thought it was okay. Like, I really liked her writing style. It was really, really elegant and very drawn out in a way that really just grabbed your full attention. I don't know how to explain it. It's just it was very old, very timely. I don't know. I picked this one up because I got this at BEA in New York. I really, really enjoyed it. This book follows a girl who receives a letter from like this dead lady, her dead grandmother, respectively, saying that she has inherited a bunch of stuff, like the house or something like that, and she immediately is suspicious because 1, she doesn't know this lady, and 2, actually, I really can't go into 2 without giving away spoilers, so just 1. Anyways, she debates whether to going to this mysterious, like, mansion overall and see, like, what is actually happening, because she is, like, dead broke, dirt poor, and she realizes she has literally nothing to lose. Big mistake, let me tell you. This book honestly had its own flair of, like, creepiness. Like, I can't really explain it. Like, there's creepy, like, creepy, and then there's creepy as if you're like in a gothic mansion reading by a fireplace. It's a very atmospheric book. I really, really recommend to those who really, really like visually old style, timely, classic, atmospheric books. Very proud of that description. Once the main character gets to the house, obviously things start to go wrong and things start to go bump into the night, and she might not be safe. The one really main aspect I really, really liked about this book is how the author incorporated the use of tarot cards, because that's what the main character does for like a living. She plays with cards and tells people their fortunes, stuff like that. I thought that was really, really, really cool. Definitely recommend if you guys are interested. I gave this one, I think, like a 4 out of 5 stars. The ending was really intense too as well. So the next book we're going to talk about is Pretty Girls by Karin Slaughter. This has got to be one of the most disturbing and bloodiest and goriest, most violent book I probably have ever read in my entire life. The Good Daughter, the violence and everything that was chaotic, destructive was up here. Pretty Girls just knocks that book right out of the park because this one was so insane and so brutal. So again, this is a standalone that follows 2 sisters who are estranged because something really bad happened to them in like the past. Well, not to them, but to their other sister who was missing, and they don't know what happened to her, and they never found her. And this book follows the main trope of where 2 sisters who are estranged are brought together again by some tragic event that happens to one of them. Present mystery might be connected to the past. Pretty vague, but let me just say, you will not be prepared by the content and just the graphic brutality of what's in this book. There are a lot of trigger warnings as well. There's rape, there's lots of profanity and gore, and graphic sexuality, I think. I say sexuality, I think it's like sex and stuff like that. Like, depictions of violence against women is very strong in this one. If you're really wary of stuff like that, I would really be hesitant and just be careful of going to this book. Overall, plot-wise, story-wise, it was so good. It kept me on the edge of my seat. If you're subscribed to me already, you already know I love Karin Slaughter and her other books as well. Highly recommend. 5 out of 5 stars. So epic and so bloody in every way, and there's just something about Karin Slaughter's writing style. I talked about this before. She would talk about how her characters would be like doing the laundry or something at the laundromat, and you're just so like tense the whole time because you think something bad will happen. It's like no one is safe in this book, okay? It's just I love it so much. So the next book I'm going to talk about is Sometimes I Lie by Alice Keeney. Before buying this book, I actually heard prior like positive buzz and feedback about this book and how good it was and everything. I believe this is a debut novel as well from Alice Keeney, and ultimately I was a little bit disappointed. Overall, like the beginning was really slow, the middle was okay, and then the ending, like the final twist was just, I was like, really? Like, we're gonna go in that direction? Like, I just didn't like it. It could have done without that last chapter. So this book follows a wife who wakes up to find that she can't move at all, and she finds that she's in a coma. She thinks that her husband and maybe her sister might have something to do with it. Let me just say, none of the characters in this book are likable, and I really, really hate that. Okay, sometimes the author writes unlikable characters, because they're unlikable. I really hate that. I just need someone to like, okay? It's just, I cannot relate. I just cannot read a book without having it was just so frustrating and so annoying to read how everyone in this book was just a freaking psychopath, like just an idiot. So annoying and frustrating. I just hated everybody in here. It just took away my enjoyment of this whole book in general. And I think I gave it like 2 or 3 out of 5 stars. But yeah, the ending was little to be desired. And I heard people were like, oh, she's opening it up for a sequel. And I'm like, I don't want to read a sequel. Like, I really wish she didn't go into this direction. But you know what? She did. And you might like it if you're into that. Anyway, so that happened. So the next book I read and thoroughly enjoyed, one of the best books I've read this year, The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. So this one follows a woman who goes back to this campsite that she went when she was younger. And when she was younger, something really, really bad happened. Her bunkmates actually went missing, and she doesn't know what happened to them. So she realizes that she's given this opportunity to go back and actually find out the truth behind their mysterious disappearance. Of course, some bad things happen when she gets to the camp. Obviously, somebody or something doesn't want her finding out the truth. And overall, I really, really thought it was really well done. Like, the whole writing style, the story, the execution, the characters. I mean, I rooted for the main character the whole entire time. It was very creepy as well, very atmospheric with the woods and everything. I highly recommend if you guys are looking for something that is equally fast-paced, something with a really good mystery to it, and also just a whole campy vibe feel to it as well. The next book I read, All the Beautiful Lies by Peter Swanson. So if y'all didn't know, if you guys are subscribed to my channel for a while now, y'all know that Peter Swanson is another author I go to for thriller mysteries. However, this is one of my least favorite of his books overall. I did enjoy it to some extent, however, the whole mystery aspect and story-wise, I didn't really like, and I think I gave it like 2 out of 5 stars. So it follows this man, okay, named Harry, and his father dies, so he goes back hometown. And his father was actually like remarried to his stepmother, and sued his stepmother. You know, he and his stepmother are getting closer, and another girl shows up in town, and he gets like involved with these 2 women. However, it goes like beyond that, and it's just really creepy. And I just didn't like reading this relationship. It was just really awkward and like kind of disgusting at times. Like, I don't know, maybe that was the intention, but I didn't really enjoy it. So, not my problem. Overall, Harry's just finding out what really happened to his dad. Again, we have these characters trying to find out what really happened to like their significant other or loved one, or what happened in the past. And of course, obviously, it doesn't bode well for them, because I still would be reading Peter Swanson's other books. This one just didn't do it for me. So, okay, so last and not least, Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter. I really, really enjoyed this. I thought it was really fast-paced. However, it's not one of my favorite Karen Slaughter books. I gave it like 4 to 5 stars, a really, really good rating. However, I just thought it wasn't as good as her other books, and that's totally fine. You don't have to love every book your favorite author comes out. But overall, I think I just had an issue with the main character and the whole execution overall. I thought it was a little far-fetched, kind of unbelievable. But, you know, I think if you just reel back and just sit back and read it for what it is, I think you would really enjoy it. This book follows a mother and daughter relationship this time. This is also a standalone. The daughter is like sort of like a shy, reserved girl, and her mother is as well, until something drastic and tragic really happens at this mall. And the daughter sees a side of her mother she's never seen before at all. And certain events set the daughter on this journey of finding out who her mother really was, like pieces of her life, of her old life. I thought this whole book overall was really interesting, and it had some elements where I never really read in a thriller before. Again, if you're a Karen Slaughter fan, if you really, really liked her other books, I would really recommend this one as well. Overall, I really enjoyed it, but it's just not one of my favorites. Okay, so those are pretty much all the recent thrillers I have read so far from like April till now. You guys should let me know down in the comments below if you guys have read any of these books. I really want to hear your thoughts. If you guys have any thriller recommendations, I would really love some new recommendations. Also, don't forget, if you guys are interested in reading The Outsider by Stephen King, which is more of a new recent release, I would definitely click on the link down below. You guys can listen to the audiobook and it'll be free for 30 days. Thank you for Scribd for sponsoring this video, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you guys all soon with the new video. Goodbye.